Welcome to the Joyful Optimist podcast, your Sunday sanctuary for a little more joy and a whole lot of possibility. I'm Sandy Kusano, and each week we gather here to breathe, reflect, and reconnect with what really matters, your true wealth. So let yourself settle for a moment, because this is your space to reconnect. Life has a funny way of bringing us back to ourselves at the exact moment we feel furthest from who we want to be. And that's honestly where today's episode begins, in the space between who I was, who I'm becoming, and what joy has been trying to teach me. Earlier this year, I got married on the big island of Hawaii. We eloped, and it was dope. We had a sunset ceremony on the spring equinox on the west side of the island, and a sunrise ceremony on a black sand beach on the east. And I was already in love with my husband, deeply. But in Hawaii, I found myself falling even more in love with him, and falling in love with something bigger. A way of life. Actually, a way of being that I had always known was possible, but had never actually felt in my body until we were there. I could feel true wealth. Not the money or the accomplishments, but the real kind. Oozing between my toes like sand. We felt healthier, more connected, more present. People actually talked to each other there. They look you in the eye. Life slows down. And priorities shift. And because I'm me, of course, I seized the moment. I found a house I fell in love with, a real house. And Danny knew he was in trouble the moment he watched me standing there, hypnotized by the wind chimes blowing in the island breeze. Oh, I was all in. Taking big leaps of faith is kind of my thing, so none of it felt crazy. It felt kismet. And the universe seemed to agree. Double rainbows, sea turtles swimming inches from us, little cosmic winks everywhere. And then, the wildest sign. One day Danny half joked, if it's really meant to be that we are here, let Kilauea erupt. And that night, she did. And we got in that car in the middle of the night and drove to see the glow of the lava with our very own eyes. And standing there watching the molten earth move beneath a dark sky, it truly felt like the land was saying, yes. And so we flew home certain that Hawaii was our next chapter. Came back, we returned, we packed up our massive 100-year-old 4-story bed and breakfast home, cleared out decades of belongings. It was exhausting, emotional, brutal, cathartic, all at once. But even then, we were still riding that Hawaii high. There was joy, there was possibility. And once we were done with everything we could on our end, we hit the road, letting life catch up to us while we explored. And that was magical. We went into cities like Pittsburgh and Chicago that charmed and surprised us. Bozeman took our breath away. We saw our first buffalo in the Badlands of South Dakota. We camped and cold plunged in Yellowstone. We drove through the Tetons and slept under the stars in Utah. It felt like life was still saying, keep going. It's part of the plan. And then Arizona. Arizona is where everything shifted. The invitation came first. For family reasons, meaningful ones. Someone important to us wanted us closer. and a part of me genuinely wanted to say yes. But as soon as we had arrived, my body had completely different responses. First of all, it was 117 degrees. 117. And I wasn't just emotionally overwhelmed, I was physically melting down. My nervous system was screaming, no. Danny could see all the possibilities, and so could I. We really wanted it. Or actually, we really wanted to want it. But I couldn't. And then the rest hit. Our house wasn't selling. Our Hawaii plan dissolved. All of the clarity we'd been holding evaporated almost overnight. And I felt so torn and so guilty. And that's when the internal storm really started. I kept thinking, you teach this work. You coach people on joy. Why can't you access it right now? And the answer was simple. Because I'm human. That's why. Not broken, not failing, not a fraud. Just human. A human whose nervous system was overwhelmed. A human whose clarity had gone quiet. A human whose body was telling the truth long before my mind could catch up. And letting that truth land, allowing myself to be human, was the first crack of light in an otherwise very confusing season. And here's where my mental fitness came back in. So for the last 5 years, I've been studying and teaching mental fitness through positive intelligence. It's all about training your mind the way you train your body, shifting from your survival brain, building up mental muscles. And your survival brain is reactive, protective, spiraling, where your sage brain is wise, grounded, creative, has clarity. And in Hawaii, I was fully in sage. I was safe. I felt open. I felt connected. It's easy to feel joy when you feel safe. But in Arizona activated every survival instinct in my system. And along with that, my inner critic, my judge, got loud and judgy. And the avoider tendencies wanted me to disappear. Pleaser wanted me to say yes, even though my body said no. And my stickler whispered, fix it, figure it out, hold it together. And so the truth about mental fitness, it's actually not about never slipping into your self-sabotage. It's actually about noticing when you have and having the mental strength and mental muscles to choose to come back to yourself. Joy doesn't vanish. It just waits for you to return. And that return usually happens in the smallest of ways. Which brings us here to you. If you have a journal nearby, go ahead and grab it. And if not, just take a breath with me. When life feels heavy and joy feels far away, what helps you come back to yourself, even a little? What brings you out of your head and back into your presence? And I actually want you to think small, not big. Think the tiny physical cues. the sound of birds outside your window, the warmth of a mug in your hands. Feeling grounded with your feet on the floor. A breath that reaches all the way down into your belly. Sunlight on the wall. Those tiny sensory moments, that's where joy begins again. And whatever came to mind for you, let it be enough for today. If this episode stirred something for you, I'd truly love to hear how you're doing. You can leave a comment or send me a note at joyfuloptimist.com. It will really mean a lot to me. And if someone in your life might need this conversation too, please share it with them. You never know whose day or whose life it might shift. And I will leave you with a mantra that I have been holding close to. Don't wait for the magic. Be the magic. Until next Sunday, I'm Sandy, your true wealth coach.